I have been going to Tupelo Smiles my whole life. When I was a kid, I was unhappy about some uneven coloring on my teeth after getting my braces off, which at the time there really wasn't a fix. I was recently made aware of a solution that would totally fix it, which is exactly what we did. They not only heard my concerns, but they never stopped looking to solve my problem, and that's why I love Tupelo Smiles.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 6.
Well, welcome into our Mississippi Live Weather at 6. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon live from Pontotoc as we are doing our softball game of the week this evening. We'll talk more to our Ethan Foster about the game coming up here in a few minutes. Game underway a little bit early because the D-Now going on here in Pontotoc County. They started it at 5:20, originally slated for 6 o'clock. It's been a close game so far with Pontotoc, I believe, up 2-0, unless something changed in the last couple of minutes here. Though South has 2 runners in scoring positions, so we'll see how that goes. Again, more on that game coming up in a few minutes. But the thing that I think we've all probably noticed today, it's been spectacular. Look at the clear skies. It was something we're hopeful will continue into this upcoming weekend as well. Let's start talking about, again, your headlines here at 6 p.m. this evening. And conditions looking great as the weekend is going to get even warmer. We're looking just how much warmer coming up here in a couple minutes. Spring is going to continue to be sunny. Again, we started a new season today, and looking like it's going to be great weather for that into this upcoming weekend. More on that coming up here in a couple minutes. And when's our next checks for rainfall? We're looking at that. Our meteorologist Gabe Maynard even digging a little beyond that as well coming up here in a few minutes. But right now, as we look over the course of the first 12, we're 77 at 7, 65 degrees as we look toward 10 p.m., 61 by 1 a.m., 58 by 4 a.m. Again, tomorrow morning, upper 50s. It's well above our normal for this time of year as we continue into a new season, much like the way, I guess, we exited the old one at this time. Again, 80 degrees, the temperature, and a little warm earlier this afternoon. Now that the sun is going down, very pleasant out here. The dew point at only 52, so still some fairly dry air out there, all things considered, this evening as we show our camera there in Clarksdale with mostly clear skies, basically, as far as the eye can see. Maybe a few high, thin clouds for you out there. That dew point in the Clarksdale area coming in low 50s as well. It has been fairly breezy. And look at those southerly winds. Sustained wind speeds up around 20 miles per hour, gusts up there 25 to 30 in the Greenville area. Again, another sunny, beautiful afternoon. Appreciate North Mississippi Storm Chasers, our partners with all of these cameras here across North Mississippi. And then Mabin, we're looking at 81 degrees, and those trees getting more green as I guess they're getting ready to add a little more pollen as well, something you probably noticed recently. Temperatures all across the region, about 82 right now in Grenada, 78 degrees in Hamilton, Alabama, 79 in Red Bay, 78 in Tishmingo, as we're starting the weekend off warm and dry, and both those words largely continue going forward. In fact, we could be talking about record warm this weekend because of that H down in the Gulf of Mexico. High pressure, we get sinking air, we get clear skies. We got all the stuff that is opposite of what we had with the active weather last weekend. That's what's largely continuing in this upcoming week. And even that front that we have to the north and west there, that doesn't have a bunch of cold air with it. I think it's going to take the one behind that to reinforce it to have a more substantial drop. And that's going to probably take the first of next week. And even then, I still don't think it's going to be substantial enough to get us back below our normal, below our 30-year average for this time of the year. So we are clear across the Magnolia State, other than those few high, thin clouds we have back out to the east. You'll notice as we look at Futurecast, go beyond Mama Justice Doppler radar there, the Futurecast, that we do show some of those high, thin clouds rolling in later on tonight. But again, because they're high, because they're thin, they're made up of ice crystals, not rainfall. And again, we're too dry here at the surface, so we're keeping it dry and mostly clear into the overnight period with, again, that front getting closer. It will not have any meaningful impact on us temperature-wise into the weekend forecast. And so as you'll notice over the course of the next 24 hours, we're 78 degrees at noon, 85 degrees by 3 p.m. on your Saturday, 82 as we go towards Sunday under what should be mostly sunny skies. In a lot of ways, carbon copy of today, just adding a couple degrees to those temperatures. And I think we're going to be pushing even hotter than that as we head into your Sunday, and that could push us into record territory. Record-breaking warmth on the way. We're looking at that. We have limited rain chances for the first of next week. We'll analyze those, and I think Gabe might even dig into some jet stream action beyond that to look at the far extended forecast when we could see a pattern shift as we, I guess we can say we're looking to wrap up March. Is it going to go out like the Lion that we had last weekend? We'll talk about that in more details. Mississippi Live weather continues here from the Room to Room Weather Center at 60 seconds. We're at our Mississippi Live Game of the Week presented by Casey Lott. Full forecast for this and SEC baseball in 60 seconds.
Feeling lucky? Shop the Lucky 7 sale at Room to Room and get an extra 7% off our lowest already marked down prices. Plus $77 art, $7.99 hot buys, and 12 months special financing. Find your lucky deal today at Room to Room Tupelo.
After a storm, the damage is not always obvious. And if it's not documented correctly, it can cost you. With a decade of experience, we know exactly what to look for. We handle the inspection, claim support, and the roof. Storm season is coming. Make sure you have absolute restoration on your side.
Feeling lucky? Shop the Lucky 7 sale at Room to Room and get an extra 7% off our lowest already marked down prices. Plus $77 art, $7.99 hot buys, and 12 months special financing. Find your lucky deal today at Room to Room Tupelo.
This portion of Mississippi Live Weather is presented by Little's Jewelers.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's Mississippi's Chief Meteorologist, Matt Lovhawn.
Well, we are at our Mississippi Live Game of the Week presented by Casey Lott. It is Pontotoc Pontotoc City. It's Pontotoc County. It's one of those. Every time I hear that crack, you gotta make sure it's not a pot fly, or I guess a pop foul. But it's Pontotoc taking on South Pontotoc here. Game undergoing at this point here. We are in the fourth inning, and it is a tie during the time we were talking at the beginning of the broadcast. South Pontotoc able to score 2 runs there. So again, we'll talk more about that. The highlights coming up at 10 p.m. tonight, a little later on. But outside, again, at this point in time, those temperatures are pretty nice, around the 80-degree point. And when we look at that forecast for our Mississippi Live Game of the Week, again, that temperature in the 70s, dropping to the mid-70s by around the 4th inning, mid-60s by around the end of this one. Gabe will talk more about who's leading those 2 categories coming up here in a couple minutes. Of course, our most valuable non-player, as well as our fan section of the week. He'll have that, who's leading that, coming up here in just a moment as we get ahead to that. But let's talk about SEC baseball. Also, a beautiful evening, not just for baseball here in Pontotoc, but a SEC baseball forecast presented by Carl Hogan Toyota. We're looking at 77 first pitch there in Starkville. Of course, the first pitch at 7 p.m. tonight will be 60s to mid-60s by the conclusion of that game. Looking like it's just going to be a very, very nice evening for some time out there at Swayze. If we go down there, we're looking at 6:30 again. That first pitch there, 79 degrees first pitch temperature, 72 at 4th inning, and 67. So both Duty Noble and Swayze Field looking great there. And you know who's always looking excellent? That'd be our meteorologist, Gabe Maynor, who's going to be talking more about the rest of your forecast back in our Tupelo studios. Gabe, what do you got?
Well, Matt, yes, bringing it back here to the Room to Room Weather Center. It's going to be a great night for baseball there in Oxford, and hopefully Ole Miss taking this one against Kentucky and winning the overall series. But if you're down there in Starkville, you're getting the entire weekend to enjoy some baseball, as that Game 1 matchup is tonight, but we have games Saturday and Sunday. And no need for rescheduling this weekend because there's no severe weather on Sunday like we had last Sunday. 85 Saturday, 86 Sunday. Not only is it above average temperatures, we do expect record-breaking temperatures by the time we get towards our Sunday. Our Mama Justice Doppler radar, you can see that there's nothing of note, but there's a few areas that stand out. We're going to jump down south to Louisville first because, as you can see, that green showing up right there, if we put this on a loop, you can see that this does give us a visual at some of those controlled burns that are happening. So if you see that haziness there in the sky, especially down there in Winston County, that is the controlled burns. This one going to be just southeast of the Estes community, closer to Fern Springs, and that could get up there towards Louisville, but kind of getting that southwesterly wind driving it there towards the north and east. So folks in Brooksville, Octok, Penns, probably dealing with that here in just a few moments. Macon, you can see looking out west, it's a bit of a blurry picture there, but you do still get that haze on the horizon. 79 degrees, 49-degree dew points, so none of that haze is going to be attached to any cloud cover, and no cloud cover to produce any of that rainfall. So we are dry tonight. Alcorn County, Yeah, you want to talk about some smoky conditions. Look at that horizon right there towards Rienzi. We saw one of those controlled burns a little bit more towards the north, and there you're getting a visual there on the horizon. So unfortunately, that takes away from some of those clear and beautiful blue skies, but nonetheless, should be a pleasant afternoon. As we look out there towards the Oxford area, our folks there at Phoenix Building Solutions providing us this look along Jackson Avenue and Highway 7. It is a beautiful afternoon to be out and about, even if you are a Rebel up there in Oxford or a Bulldog down in Starkville. Baseball is tonight. That's one of the options we have for tonight to get outside, but we have plenty of action across North Mississippi. 73 by 8, mid-60s by 10, and low 60s back by midnight, still with plenty of clear skies. Those clear skies allow for some cooling to happen overnight, but if you're expecting temperatures like earlier this week, well, we left that back in winter. We're in spring now, and that's why we expect some of that warmer air to dominate our forecast moving forward, and that includes the start of our Saturday. Technically the first morning of spring, because spring did start about 9:40 this morning. So the first 6 o'clock hour as we get into our spring season, and it's shaping up to be a good one with 58 degrees New Albany, Tupelo, 58 Eupora, 56 Columbus, but 60 showing up Greenwood, Belzona, Cleveland, 61 Clarksdale, and Greenville. Now this front does move into the area, potentially bringing us a few clouds, but no rainfall is expected with this setup, at least not here in Mississippi. As we work our way out there towards the east, this front will start to retreat up there towards the Atlantic coast. And as it does so, we'll start to produce some showers late into the day on our Saturday. I mean, you can see some of those storms starting to fire up. This has the potential to produce severe weather, a level 1 risk in place for folks out there in the Carolinas, but you can see North Mississippi, nothing. So finally, a weekend that's pretty calm, and we have no complaints regarding that. Finally, a little bit of a break we can take this weekend and get outside and enjoy all these great conditions. We're 83 Boonville, 85 Tupelo and Amory, 86 Houston, Columbus, and 84 Kosciuszko and Macon. Our record, 87 degrees. I don't think we're touching that one in this for Saturday, but by Sunday, that's where that record-breaking warmth will be there. Speaking of Saturday, we do have our continuation of the weekend series for the Bulldogs and the Rebels. Saturday at 1:30, we're 79 first pitch, 82 fourth inning, and 83 by that final out. The number 15 ranked Kentucky Wildcats in town, and Ole Miss winning game 1. They pull it off tonight, they'll win that series. So hopefully they can pull that off, and hopefully the Bulldogs can just continue some early season dominance as we are going to be taking on the Vanderbilt Commodores. 6 p.m. Starkville, 83 degrees first pitch, 77 fourth inning, and 70 by that final out for that 6 o'clock pitch on our Saturday. Now overnight, you can see all the thunderstorm activity there behind me towards East Tennessee, northern Alabama, and up there towards the Carolinas, but here in North Mississippi, that front, since it's retreated, it's not bringing us any rainfall and definitely no strong storms. So we're calm overnight, and that calm weather will continue into the start of our Sunday once again. Hazy conditions in place that will help some of the warmer air stick around. You know, with the clear skies, it allows some of that heating to clear on out, but where that cloud cover tries to form, that limits how much we're able to cool off, and that's why we're seeing 62 Greenwood, Cleveland, 63 Clarksdale and Tunica, but we're 60 in Amory, 58 Hamilton, 59 Vernon, which honestly, while it is a few degrees cooler, it is perfect conditions to start our Sunday, and I know pastors out there that have to wake up early are definitely appreciating the milder conditions. Our mid-morning time frame still looking good, and that moisture will retreat, and those southwesterly winds are going to show up and show out with breezy conditions throughout your Sunday afternoon. Still a great forecast to get outside and enjoy, but as we track this cold front that's moving across North Mississippi, this is going to be driving our pattern moving into that, of course, extended outlook. Sunday night, Monday morning, chances of a few isolated showers. Overall, coverage very limited. Honestly, a sprinkle is what I expect, and that's only for about 2 cities here in North Mississippi on our Sunday. That will work to clear it on out, but look at the wind shift from a southerly direction to more of a northerly direction, causing a dip in those temperatures as we enter into our Monday. So these warm temperatures Sunday will take a bit of a step back. But I told you, record-setting heat is expected this weekend. Here's our projected high temperatures: 86 Tupelo, 87 Amory, Houston, Starkville, and Columbus, and 87 Grenada and Greenwood. Our record, 83 degrees. I expect to blow that out of the water, including not just in Tupelo, but all across North Mississippi. But as we get into that extended pattern, like I mentioned, very, very limited moisture for Sunday, but we do get those showers working their way back Tuesday and Wednesday, but still a very limited fashion. So while that's a good thing for any outdoor plans, it is a concern when we're talking about the drought monitor, as that will continue to worsen, and we're still under a level 4 drought, keep in mind. So seeing this 7-day outlook is not exactly ideal. As we take a look at those temperatures, though, 74 degrees Monday, but gradually working its way back into the 80s by our Thursday. Low temperatures, still pretty mild, all things considered, so don't need to worry about layering up for those morning commutes. And honestly, this morning, I went out with short sleeves. My wife went out with short sleeves, and neither of us complained. So, and she's definitely more cold-natured than me, but I was expecting it's like maybe she'll say something, but she never did. So that means it was comfortable. So that means it's probably going to be comfortable enough to have short sleeves all week long. So let's take a look at the jet stream. We're going to go way out here real quick. You can see how we're in this ridging pattern. Ridging pattern basically meaning this hill that develops right there. Whenever a ridging pattern is in place, that means it's a very dry atmosphere. Well, watch how long this sticks around for. And we're not going to see much in the action of a rainfall Monday, but we do get a little bit of a short wave that starts to develop up there towards Columbus, Washington, or Columbus, Lexington, and Nashville. That will work its way up the East Coast, and that's where that potential for some showers do form up there towards the Atlantic coast, and will linger around for our Monday. But again, we're continuing to be in this ridge, so by Monday evening, still not tracking much. It's once we get more into our Tuesday that we get this, again, a short wave to develop, and that's what we're trying to watch for. You see that dip right there? That's going to be that subtle disturbance that will allow for some of these showers to begin to form late into our Tuesday and continue into our Tuesday afternoon and evening. Those picking up a little bit more steam as that short wave moves right over the top of us and then continues off there towards the south and east. So those rain chances, they do try to linger, being that we are still just outside of that short wave just a bit. And so by Wednesday morning, seeing a few light showers in the area and then working its way out. And then you can see what's moving in place. Another ridging pattern, another high pressure system, and another dry pattern ahead. So as we look at this 7-day forecast, we have very limited moisture, but I will say Tuesday, that's our best day over this 7-day stretch. And even then, I'm expecting maybe a quarter of an inch in some spots, and that's on the higher end of the spectrum. So coming up here in the next 60 seconds, why the dry air is a good thing is for our Mississippi Live Game of the Week. Our Chief Meteorologist, Matt Lawpon, previewing that game in a little bit more detail, coming up live here from the Mobile Room-to-Room Weather Center here in the next 60 seconds. Keep it here for the very latest.
Accident detected. Should I call 888-8888?
How do you know that number?
I am from Mississippi.
Ma'am, dial the 8s.
Calling the 8s.
Dial the 8s.
I'm Attorney Casey Lott. When you're hurt in Mississippi, even lifeless objects know who to call.
Don't wait. Dial the 8s.
I felt accomplished after I got my diploma. Made me feel that I could take on whatever challenges life throws at you.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
Nice pitch. Welcome back out here at the softball field of Pontotoc High School. You're watching Mississippi Live Weather at 6 p.m. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon. We're going to get a side look here at our Ethan Foster, who is going over there and talking about the game here in a second. But as you can see, 7-day forecast there, nice and warm into this upcoming weekend. Of course, the game ongoing, it's supposed to originally start at 6 p.m. Got a little bit earlier than that because D now here going on in town, so they wanted to kind of move it up here for everyone in the county. So, Ethan, I know we're going to get your rear view here.
They get to see what it's like live action out here on the diamond.
I guess we could do this point it back up the hill.
We've got two on base right now. South Pontotoc at the plate. I'm hoping to get maybe a nice little RBI hit or something right here.
We'll give it a second.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. We'll flip this around. We'll show the actual game while we're doing this. Give us.
It will be worth showing again. Yeah. South Pontotoc and Pontotoc tied up at 2 right now.
The first few innings obviously did not look great for South. Home team doing excellent right out the gate. And then really loaded things up there in the fourth I was in Maine weather, so I didn't get a good chance to
Yeah,
watch
and
how
this game kind of snuck up on us. So right when I got here, started to see some action from the visiting team. So we'll see what they can do here. So trying to battle back, down 1 ball, 2 strikes. For I believe that's number 1 at the plate for South Pontotoc. It's hard to tell. She's got a ponytail covering it up. So we'll have to see in the highlights later. But yeah, 2-2 game so far.
You know, thinking coming into this game, who did you have?
Yeah, so Pontotoc, you know, technically the home team tonight. So they're looking a little bit stronger at 7-4. South Pontotoc at 6-8. Pontotoc, you know, the home team tonight scored 28 runs over the last 2 games. So they have been. Oh, there you go. There's that. Oh, what a catch for that!
Wow, nice hard hit, great catch in right position.
Wow. So there you go. That's definitely a run-saving play right there. But as you were talking about, Matt, I definitely was going to roll with the Warriors tonight just because I think they're the hotter team right now. South currently on a 2-game loss streak and just struggling a little bit more this season to produce wins compared to their losses. And so I'm going with the black and gold tonight with the Warriors. But as you can see, tied up at 2. This is a competitive series. And South Pontotoc actually got the win over Pontotoc earlier in the season. They actually had a 10-0 shutout.
Really?
Yeah. So
Have you
definitely
still
surprising.
picked Pontotoc?
I'm still going with the Warriors because I think that game seems like a little bit of a fluke in the grand scheme of things, just from what we're seeing. And not to mention, Pontotoc has some girls on the team there that are batting .460, and then also another player to spotlight was batting .571 in my game notes.
71?
Yeah, .571, and also really high fielding percentage. I think it was like .983 or something like that. So yeah, I'll definitely recap some of that in the highlights tonight at 10. Some specific names, so we give them their fair shout out, regardless of the outcome of the game. Some star players out on the field tonight, and I believe for Pontotoc, one of the girls' first names is Star. So you know,
Nobody's cracked that joke before.
Nobody, I'm sure. Oh, there you go.
Well, I almost got that in time. So again, we are our Mississippi Live Game of the Week presented by Casey Lott here in Pontotoc softball. It's Warrior softball, and
that's an RBI single right there. So South Pontotoc is going to take the lead 3-2. 2 outs right now, so you know, still a little bit of magic they can make left happen in the top of this 5th inning. And as we all know, softball, and there's another hit right there that's going to look like get the end of the inning there. So looks like the home team's going to have one more shot to do it and see if they can at least tie the game to send it over and maybe score more than one to try to walk it off here. If my math with 5 innings is correct, you know, high school baseball and softball are a little bit different. I got to get my mind out of the college space. Typically 5 innings for softball, unless it goes extras. At least that's what we saw last week. May have been just a time thing with the tournament going on, but you know, forgive me, as the expert, as always, often apt for being wrong as well. So we'll see how that goes. And yeah, I could be wrong. We might go into 7. I know we're in the middle of a jamboree-ish kind of thing last week with East Union and Boonville.
Yes.
So we'll have to correct that, do a check on that here in just a second. But the scoreboard goes to 7, as you can see in the distance. So we'll make sure we're not wrong.
So I think in a close game, I think that's probably where we're heading.
Absolutely. It only takes 1 run to tie it up. So if that is the case, seems like it's going to be a tight one the rest of the way through. South Pontotoc up 3-2. My pick with the Pontotoc Warriors. I believe they have the power to do so. Now, they were close to getting a couple in last inning, but just couldn't do it. So we'll see what they got left in the tank here as we kind of close out this game in the second half.
Okay, so the Mississippi Live Game of the Week here in the Pontotoc area, and I think I'm going to flip the camera back around. Give me just a moment to do that. And we'll have, again, I'm going to bring in Gabe's microphone here for a second. Gabe, just to double check where we're at on the voting. I know we were extremely close on the most valuable non-player vote between one of the school resource officers and one of the coaches for this. So, Gabe, I don't know if your microphone's hot there.
Yes,
ready to go behind
I have
the
it
scenes.
up behind the scenes. I had to update it because it was so close. It was a 2-vote swing 15 minutes ago. So I'm pulling it up one more time because 2 votes, that can happen, pretty quickly. So we are currently, okay, so Coach Michael Green is our most valuable non-player for, I believe it is, I don't know.
Right?
Is it South Pontotoc? I think it is.
Okay, you're wearing red, white, right?
Oh, he's wearing an Ole Miss shirt. So.
Oh, okay. I could be wrong about that. I'll have to. Can you pull up? Do you have it pulled up on your phone? Or do you have it pulled up on the computer?
My phone.
Okay. So that's fine. Well, we will have that for you. We'll have that figured out coming up here, and we'll get video and have that most valuable non-player of the game coming up at 10 o'clock. Foul ball. Heads up. Didn't get me.
We did just see a double for the Warriors as we were, discussing those things. So no outs, one on second base, and a batter at the plate right here.
And I think Pontotoc was leading on the fan section of the week, right, Gabe?
That is correct. Pontotoc is going to be our fans of the week, so we'll get some highlights of them coming up at 10 o'clock as well.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, our next live broadcast will be at 10 o'clock. We'll have the actual highlights of this game here. Ethan doing his job to make sure that happens. At 10 o'clock also, of course, Gabe updating that weekend forecast. And we just appreciate y'all for supporting us here in Mississippi Live Weather, whether it's on our live broadcasts, all the different things we post on Facebook, social media, Roku. Just thank you so much for watching us and supporting us here on Mississippi Live Weather. We'll see y'all later.
Growing up, Gabe was naturally curious when he began to discover weather. Gabe just didn't want to know what was happening, but he wanted to know why it was happening. Gabe became fascinated with tornadoes and it impacted his life. He wanted to pursue a career in meteorology. Even though Gabe grew up in Alabama, Mississippi has now become his home and his family. And one thing about Gabe is he keeps his family safe.